The year is 2025. America has returned to a familiar face, a familiar name. Donald J. Trump, defying age, defying critics, is once again the President of the United States. His victory over incumbent Joe Biden in the 2024 election sent shockwaves through the nation and the world. It was a testament to his enduring appeal among a significant portion of the electorate and a stark reminder of the deep divisions that continue to define American society. Trump's inauguration, held on a crisp January day, was a spectacle that blended the traditional with the overtly Trumpian. Carrie Underwood, a country music superstar, lent her voice to the occasion, a stark contrast to the difficulty Trump faced securing performers for his first inauguration in 2016. Yet, the presence of Lee Greenwood, a staple of Trump rallies, and the return of opera singer Christopher Macchio ensured the event resonated with his base. The inauguration was not without its controversies. Google's $1 million donation to the inaugural fund raised eyebrows, as did Mark Zuckerberg's decision to halt fact-checking on Facebook during the event. These actions, perceived by some as tacit endorsements of Trump, fueled concerns about the role of technology giants in shaping public discourse. The presence of former President Biden, a stark contrast to Trump's own absence at Biden's inauguration 4 years prior, only served to highlight the unusual nature of Trump's return. To understand the Trump phenomenon, one must delve into the psychology of leadership, particularly the realm of narcissism. Narcissistic leaders are often characterized by their grandiose sense of self-importance. They possess an unshakable belief in their own exceptionalism, often viewing themselves as uniquely capable of solving complex problems and guiding their followers to greatness. This inflated ego is often accompanied by a relentless need for admiration. They crave constant praise and validation, interpreting any form of criticism as a personal attack or a sign of envy. This insatiable need for attention often manifests in a preoccupation with image and perception. Narcissistic leaders are acutely aware of how they are perceived by others, constantly seeking to project an aura of strength, confidence, and success. This focus on outward appearances often comes at the expense of substance. They may prioritize short-term wins and symbolic victories over long-term planning and sustainable solutions. Their decision-making can be impulsive and driven by a desire for immediate gratification rather than a careful consideration of consequences. History is replete with examples of leaders whose narcissistic tendencies ultimately contributed to their downfall. From ancient Rome to the modern era, the pattern is eerily familiar. These leaders, often initially hailed as saviors or visionaries, succumb to the intoxicating allure of power, their judgment clouded by their own inflated egos. Their reigns, marked by a combination of charisma and ruthlessness, ultimately ended in failure, leaving behind legacies tarnished by conflict, instability, and decline. One striking example is that of Gaius Caligula, the Roman emperor who ruled from 37 to 41 AD. Initially popular, Caligula's reign descended into tyranny and paranoia, marked by extravagant spending, bizarre pronouncements, and brutal purges. His actions, driven by a delusional belief in his own divinity, alienated his allies, eroded public trust, and ultimately led to his assassination. Another more recent example is that of Benito Mussolini, the Italian dictator who led his country into World War II. Mussolini, a master of propaganda and self-promotion, cultivated a cult of personality, presenting himself as the embodiment of national strength and virility. However, his grandiose ambitions, fueled by a toxic mix of nationalism and a belief in his own infallibility, ultimately proved disastrous for Italy, leading to military defeat, economic ruin, and his own downfall. Section 4. Storm clouds gather. Trump's controversial return. Trump's return to the Oval Office has been marked by a series of controversial statements and actions that have reignited concerns about his temperament and judgment. Even before his inauguration, he issued a series of provocative pronouncements that sent shockwaves through the international community. His threat to unleash all hell in the Middle East if hostages held in Gaza were not released by Inauguration Day raised fears of a return to his administration's often belligerent foreign policy. His suggestion of using military force to seize control of the Panama Canal and Greenland was met with disbelief and condemnation. and these remarks, widely perceived as reflecting a dangerous disregard for international law and norms, were seen as evidence that Trump's worldview remained unchanged despite his time out of office. Domestically, Trump's actions have also raised alarm bells. His ongoing criticism of the legal cases against him, including his praise for a judge who blocked the special counsel's final report, has fueled concerns about his respect for the rule of law. His inaccurate statements about the January 6th Capitol riot, including his false claim that no rioters were armed, have further eroded trust in his administration. Section 5. A World on Edge. International reactions to Trump. The international community has reacted to Trump's return to power with a mixture of apprehension and dismay. Many world leaders, already grappling with a range of global challenges, view his presidency as a destabilizing force on the world stage. His unpredictable nature, penchant for unilateral action, and disregard for diplomatic norms have left many fearing a return to the turbulent days of his first term. Greenland, the target of one of Trump's more outlandish pronouncements, wasted no time in dismissing his claims, reaffirming their desire for independence and sovereignty. Panama similarly asserted their control over the Panama Canal as not negotiable, rejecting any suggestion of a forced takeover. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who endured a tumultuous relationship with Trump during his first term, firmly rejected Trump's threats of economic force, vowing to defend Canadian interests. The European Union, already locked in a trade dispute with the United States, expressed deep concern over Trump's rhetoric, signaling a likely continuation of the tensions that marked his previous presidency. Section 6, A New Era, Trump's Cabinet and Agenda. As Trump settles back into the White House, all eyes are on the team he is assembling and the policy agenda he plans to pursue. His cabinet picks, a mix of familiar faces and new appointees, provide some clues about the direction of his second term. The nomination of Kristi Noem, the former governor of South Dakota, for Secretary of Homeland Security, suggests a continuation of his hardline stance on immigration. The selection of Marco Rubio, a Florida senator and one-time rival for the Republican presidential nomination as Secretary of State, has raised questions about the direction of U.S. foreign policy. Rubio's hawkish views on issues such as China and Cuba suggest a potentially more confrontational approach on the world stage. Trump's legislative agenda, as outlined in his campaign speeches and early pronouncements, centers around a familiar set of priorities. He has pledged to reverse many of the policies enacted by the Biden administration, including rolling back environmental regulations, increasing energy production, and implementing further tax cuts. He has also vowed to pursue a more aggressive approach to immigration, promising to complete the construction of a wall along the US-Mexico border and to crack down on illegal immigration.